And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for yourself.
We are the last Americans. We are the last Americans. We are the last Americans.
Heyo!
What is going on, dude?
What's going on, everybody's?
Woo!
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. I see Chris is in his new room, the empty room.
The electricity's on. What the hell?
Yeah.
They actually got the electricity working. That's good.
There's the studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's still boxed up, so.
Okay. Well, hopefully you guys get that going here soon, because, bare bones operation at my house.
It's all good, man. This is part of the process. Obviously, Chris moved this weekend, which is fantastic. And then we got to go to Houston, got to hang out with them and see the new house, which is a beautiful home, dude. Got to swim a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
With them. Yeah, man. Got to hang out in the pool.
Right on,
it's pretty
bros.
good.
So,
man,
what'd you
good.
guys do for 4th?
Just hung out at his place.
Yeah, we just hung out here and then lit off tiny fireworks for the kids.
I get you.
Well, we should say this. We were going to go to the Woodlands or to like Lake Conroe, see the fireworks show.
Yeah.
Chris's wife almost decapitated her foot.
Oh, shit. Just decapitated her foot?
No, I'm kidding.
She has a head on her foot?
On Monday or on Sunday, Ash basically broke her foot.
What did she do?
We were carrying a couch into the house, and like her foot, like she slipped off the side of the sidewalk and like twisted her whole foot up. So I think it was just a really bad sprain, but she was fucked up. She couldn't walk for a couple days.
Wow.
Yeah. So we decided that we were just gonna get some chicken and have dinner at his place and swim, and then we let off some fireworks, man, and it was a good time.
Did you guys kill the chicken in the sacrifice to the 4th of July gods?
No,
we didn't, but yeah, church's chicken might have done that. I'm not sure if they, I'm not sure if they're.
I don't know the processes behind their cooking. So
okay,
but they are churches. They're churches, so
That's
what I mean, like probably holy chicken. You know what I mean?
I get you.
Yeah, it was nice, man. The weather was hot. It was nice, dude. We just got to hang out. Like I said, we got to see Chris's place, and that was cool. We got to check up on our house, which is great, and just hung out, dude. Went to the Woodlands the last day and drove home, and now we're lounging. So
right on, dude. How fucking hot is it there? Like swamp ass hot?
It's warm.
Yeah, it was 100 degrees plus.
Well, the humidity is just like 50%, bro.
Yeah, I mean it's 100. Feels like 108. You know what I mean? Like that kind of
sticky.
So, and my wife's mom's in town and she's melting. So
Shelly belly.
Yeah, man, she's melting. So, but it's been good, man. It's been good, dude. I'm excited. Everything's starting to roll, and I know this is a little bit not really in our wheelhouse to do the setup like this, but it will be like this for at least another month or so.
It's all good,
if not longer.
We do have to state that Dave is not actually in the studio. It looks like it sounds like you're in the old Drinking Bro studio.
Yeah, I took a picture
hilarious.
Before we left so that I could verify like what was left. You know what I'm saying? So I could show the guys and stuff when I talk to them.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hell, I'll put that up, man. It looks like I'm here, like gonna play some fucking golf and shit.
There you go.
So yeah, man. But no, it's good. I miss you guys, man. It's been damn near a week since I've seen you all. So.
I know. And I didn't even really talk to you guys that much. So it was just like I kind of wanted just to, give you guys a break from me and just give you,
Well, I certainly don't. I don't need a break from you.
There you go. Chris is now.
Yeah, okay. Chris has got the same setup. But no, it's what it is, obviously we were traveling to Houston. Her mom came, which was a surprise to the rest of the family. Like, no, we didn't tell them that she was coming.
That's right.
So we had this kind of setup. And then, with the moving, it's like, it was nice just to like not think about politics and think about show and everything else for a couple days. So
for sure, dude.
But here we are. Now we're going to talk about politics and talk about funny shit.
Damn,
I don't know what you have. I don't know what you guys have on the docket. I have a couple articles, and I'm sure you have a couple articles. So what's been interesting you?
Well, the cocaine at the White House is probably the most interesting thing to me. I mean, because it's just like, how could it not be Hunter Biden? I mean, obviously, right?
100% Hunter Biden.
I mean, and the videos of Hunter Biden coming out, like sniffing himself on the balcony. Did you see that?
What? Oh, I didn't see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
the 4th of July, like celebration. They were at like the White House. They were out on the balcony.
He was like rubbing his hair all wide-eyed shit. He's like
fucking greasy as fuck. Just like, oh my God, where am I? This is awesome.
What if that's how they're keeping Joe Biden going through all this?
I agree with you on that.
Like they just have Joe Biden hopped up on coke to keep him going, keep him.
That could be.
Otherwise, he'd be dead.
Well, so they were asked that Jean Pierre or whatever the hell Pierre Jean. Who's that woman? What's her name? I can't say.
Pair of jeans. Yeah.
Sure.
The
pair of
jeans. Yeah.
They asked her. They said that they're hearing word, and they asked her. They said, "Is it possible that this was Joe Biden's or Hunter Biden's cocaine?" And I think it was her, or actually it might have been a different dude, but they actually did the Hatch Act. They said we have to be careful what we say because of the Hatch Act, and people are starting to like criticize them because they're like, "Why in the hell are you using the Hatch Act for cocaine?" Because they won't answer any questions about it. But they did actually ask if it could have been Joe Biden's cocaine. Mm-hmm. So to Chris's point, it's what's keeping him alive, baby.
So like, what is the Hatch Act and like, how does that fit into it? Because I remember they brought that up with Trump a while ago. Oops.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I actually pulled that up. The Hatch Act is from 1939. It limits certain political activists or activities of federal employees, as well as some state, DC, local government employees who work in connection with the federally funded programs. So the law's purpose are to ensure that the federal programs are administered in a nonpartisan fashion. So it's basically they're limited on what they can say because it has to do with the federal government. But they're saying it's cocaine. What do you mean that you have to limit the federal government? So do they know something maybe? I don't know.
No, because it was Hunter's or Joe Biden's.
Well, it was in a common way. It was in a common area. So that has to be taken into consideration, right? It's in a common area. And like, I would say that it seems like it could be Hunter's, but you got a bunch of 20-something-year-old interns and shit, dude, watching in DC.
I don't know if it was in a public area or not because they came out saying it was in one location. Then they turned around and said it was in the West Wing. And now today they just changed it again, saying it was in, so like there's 2 entrances to the West Wing. And it was in the more secure part. And so now everybody's saying like, well, wait a second. So that extremely limits the traffic flow of who is eligible to go on these areas or in these areas. Even Dan Bongino. Yeah, Dan Bongino was like, you guys, Secret Service and the Bidens are the only people that can get back there. So
I'm basing it basically off of what my initial reports that I read were, and that was that it was in a common area. So like if that's changed,
it's changed a lot, bro. Yeah, I mean it's like every hour it's changing. It's like and they're saying they're not going to get to the bottom of this. And it's like, how the hell do you not have security footage at the fucking White House? You know what I mean?
No, they do, and they're probably to what Chris was saying. If it was Hunter or even Joe, for that matter. They're not going to release that, bro.
Well, what they're going to do is they're not going to release it because it's either Hunter or Joe, but also they're going to do the cop-out way and say, we can't release where it was just because of security reasons. We can't let people know like what areas of the White House these are in, and like people could use it to get schematics.
So are you saying that like people are, because I heard about this like conspiracy that people are saying that Trump or Trump's previous administration or something somehow got in there and planted it on Biden admin.
That sounds like a bunch of bullshit to me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sorry, but there's this thing called a laptop that's out there that shows your son doing it off a hooker's butthole. So, I mean, if he would do that, he's going to do it at the White House. Plus the video that you're talking about. Like, dude, come on. If he wasn't snorting coke, he was high on coke. No doubt.
And not only that, but he was discharged from the Navy over cocaine. So, I mean, he has previous use of cocaine and being kicked out of the military. I mean,
it was 100% fucking Hunter Biden. Like, there's no question about it.
Right.
Dude, I think it could be Joe Biden, bro.
It's probably both. They're sharing it. It's like one of those business perks, you know?
He's like the dealer for Joe Hunter. You know what I mean? That's why he's sick, keeps him around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they
think
keep
about,
him around because Joe Biden started losing his shit, and then they're like, "Wait, we have Hunter. He's definitely got cocaine. We need to get Joe Biden up a little bit."
Well, you remember Joe Rogan was talking about way back in the day in his things, saying like, this guy like has to be on something, right? Like Joe Biden has to be on something because he'll get up and he'll be very like energetic, and then there's times where he's like lethargic.
Yeah.
Dude, it makes sense though a little bit.
The times where he just like starts yelling in the middle of his speeches, and I told him, and I said no, and I didn't want any other answer. It's like, what the hell? Where'd that come from?
Yeah, he goes from
I'm the one. I'm the one that did it.
Yeah.
I'm the one.
He doesn't sniff like the coke addict, though. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what it is.
And you all better listen to me.
Yeah.
That's why he sniffs kids' hair, is because he's having this reaction to sniffing shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's right, dude.
Yeah,
he's trying to play it off because he's got that drip going on.
Yes, he's got the drip.
He's like, instead of going like this, he just sniffs people.
He's wiping it on kids.
It ends up being worse.
Yeah.
He just wipes it on little children.
You gotta test them for cocaine, bro.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense, dude. Just a little, it's not actually a sniff, it's a wipe, bro. We've got it wrong this whole time. Jeez, dude.
Yeah. I mean, like you're thinking that he's using it for like mental stimulation, like before he goes out on stage and whatnot.
Conspiracy wise, like, sure. I think it's funny because there is these ups and downs with Joe. But at the end of the day, to Chris's point, like your son is a coke addict who does stupid shit. And on
to
top
be fair,
of it,
crack addict. Okay.
Crack. Well, listen,
he's an everything addict.
Yeah. Like yeah. But that video that circulated on 4th where he was looking very high, looking like he might have actually even done coke on stage.
Yeah.
Tie that in with this. Like, come on, man.
Well, and like the other video that came out where he was driving while smoking his crack pipe, and he was like over 100 miles per hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always fun.
I mean, fucking living to the limit, right? Fuck it.
Yeah.
I guess. When you're high, you got to go everything fast. You know what I mean? Like, why aren't we going faster?
Dude, I mean, I wish they, like, here's the thing is like, do you think there would be an advantage to them if he did come out and just admit that he is hooked on coke? Like if Joe Biden's like, I have a coke problem, like people would be like,
trying to do like the sympathy card or something.
Well, I'm just saying, like, there's enough addicts, bro. They understand that, like, hey, this isn't a disease, it's a disease. And like, hey, like, would he get sympathy if he was like, I'm addicted to cocaine?
Joe Biden?
People. Yeah,
no. It'd be better. No. It'd be better to have Hunter come out and say like, "I've been trying to get treatment. I've relapsed and that kind of stuff." It'd be better to do it that way,
bro.
Then have Joe Biden say, "Oh, my fellow Americans, I have a coke problem."
Yeah, I will be stepping down and going into rehab.
Dude, you know how you remember how you were talking about Hunter Biden getting thrown under the bus or vice versa, or using him as a scapegoat for Joe Biden's like shenanigans? What if they got Hunter Biden to say that he secretly gave his dad cocaine? You know what I'm saying? And that's why he was so spry. Because if they ever tested him and they had cocaine in the system, and they'd be like, Joe, you had to have known you were doing coke. And they make Hunter say, I actually was giving him doses of coke without him knowing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that possible?
Oh, yeah, dude. I think, the Booger sugar, I think that's it's going all the way to the White House. They call it the White House for a reason, dude. I mean,
well, that's true.
You gotta snort that coke.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know. And then like, it's just the cover up that is off. It's like obvious, like you have Politico coming out with a tweet saying White House cocaine culprit unlikely to be found. And I mean, the first sentence of this article is like, lines may have been snorted and crossed, but it's impossible. We won't know by whom. But it's possible.
Bullshit, you won't know. There's cameras everywhere.
I know. It's like, come on. Dude, how dumb
I don't think they're going to release it, dude. I think that those cameras will have mysteriously not worked. And they're not. Seriously, like, what makes you believe that even if they had that evidence that they would ever, because you want to talk about, like, regardless of how crazy shit is, you want to talk about getting somebody out of the White House, have them be a coke addict, bro. People would be demanding Joe Biden leave the White House if he's bringing drugs into the White House, right?
So now, what if a Secret Service member was paid off to plant the cocaine? What if it was planted?
That could be. Right. It could be Chris because it's convenient. How easy is it? His son is a fucking drug addict.
I don't think you'd ever have. I don't even think you'd have to plant it. I think Hunter just has that shit on demand, and he doesn't have to worry about it. It's just probably there. It's probably in other places too. They just haven't noticed it yet.
Well, that might be true, but to your point, they haven't noticed it yet. So having somebody put it in the middle of a fucking open airway where somebody sees it to the point where they have to call.
Maybe he was already high when he put it there, and then he just needed another little bump before he went on stage.
I agree.
And forgot it.
And he has a history of leaving things places and forgetting about it. He does. Right?
But you also can't say that it couldn't have been planted. It is very feasible that it was planted as well. Like, it is possible that somebody knows that, like, if it was found, who do you think they're going to talk about, right? They already know it's all set up already for it to be planted. But could they have could they pay off a Secret Service person if they're in trouble? Say there's a video, like, could they pay him off and say, like, hey, take the fucking fault for this? So, we'll give you money. You're going to lose your job. We'll pay you out so that, Hunter doesn't get in trouble for this shit. Like, they could pay somebody off there too to say that they were the ones that dropped it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah. Right.
Like some low level fucking scrub. Yeah, dude. But to your point, man, I don't think they're ever going to say who this is. I think this will be forgotten about and they won't even talk about it anymore.
Yeah, no, there's going to be something that blows up like a nuclear reactor. Did you guys hear about the threat of nuclear war? And like Russia's placing all these explosive devices around the nuclear reactor and all this shit?
Yeah, I saw that and I said next. Yeah, I wasn't. That's Ukraine propaganda as far as I'm concerned, man.
Yeah, it's like, so Ukraine blows up a bridge, blames it on Russia, blows up their pipeline, blames it on Russia, and then blows up the dam, blames it on Russia. And now they're going to, they might not. Yeah. I don't know.
Even though the dam was actually ran by Russia, like there was no benefit to that dam being destroyed for Russia at all. In fact, hurtful.
Exactly. Same thing with the pipeline. Same thing with the bridge. It's like none of this would have benefited Russia. It's like they didn't blow it up, bro.
It's big news. It is big news. Like, I'm not trying to diminish you bringing it up as big. It is. But like when I saw it, I just was immediately like, I went to the next article because I'm like, of course they're going to say this, right?
For sure.
Like, of course they're going to say this.
Yeah.
So, Chris, are we having a nuclear war, dude? What are the odds?
Are they still having nuclear war testing down there in Houston?
No, I don't think so. I don't think
blowing up a nuclear reactor would be considered nuclear war.
Yeah, and I think it'd be localized to that area, right?
It'd be like a Chernobyl type thing.
Possibly, yeah.
There was talks that Putin had said that he was moving nuclear weapons to the border and that it was a small portion of what they could move.
Mm-hmm.
And so with him saying that, maybe they were figuring, and we don't know the answer to any of this, right? But maybe Ukraine's thinking, hey, if we start this or talk about this after he had said something like that already, it would kind of lend credence to the whole thing that he actually is doing a dangerous move, right? So I can see why they would use it, and the timing of it fits perfectly because he came out and said that he was supposedly moving nuclear weapons to different areas in prepretion.
I just think,
at the same time, that doesn't mean you're in preparation, but why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think Ukraine is just
pose that. Why wouldn't you just pose that threat as a way to deter?
No, they don't have to because Ukraine is.
If I was at war with somebody, fucking nuclear weapons front lines, bro.
I feel like Ukraine is losing so bad that it's like if they were to do some sort of like self-sabotage thing, that's all they have left. Like they're so bad at fighting that they have to blow themselves up and then blame it on Russia in order to win any like public support or whatever.
Well, I don't think that it would be Ukraine. So I feel like the UN would do something like that in negotiation with them. Like they would maybe release some nuclear weapons to show and try to say that it was Russia. But to Chris, to your point, like I disagree with you a little bit, man. Like if you're going to go out straight on the nuclear side, then you have this possibility that the UN and the other people are going to jump in, which they don't want to happen. Like Russia doesn't want the UN to come in with Ukraine because that would be problematic for them, right? Now you have multiple countries involved. And so I don't know about playing that card would be, even though I know what you're saying, I don't know if that's a smart move, right? Because then all of a sudden now America's going to get involved. As soon as you say, I'm going to start blowing shit up if you guys don't fucking stop. So
But also at the same time,
Maybe.
like always, where is the evidence that the Russia is actually moving these nuclear weapons
said
in the
it.
first place?
Putin said it, if I'm not mistaken. I watched the video of him talking about moving nuclear weapons to the border and that there were more to come if need be. So whether it's accurate or not, it was said supposedly. So,
but I just feel like if you had nuclear weapons, like you have that capability, there's no reason to move it to the border. You can just shoot them from where they are.
I don't. It depends on what kind.
Well, it's like the North Korea effect, bro. You got to have that military parade, get your big fucking rockets out.
If we decided to go to war with China, and we are like, okay, it's nuclear fucking weapon time. Do you think we're gonna move all our nuclear weapons over to the China border? No, we're gonna fire them from here.
Well, yeah, but you have to have the technology to get it there. That's the whole thing with like North Korea, like trying to have a weapon that can make it to the mainland U.S. Like it's not easy. And even when we dropped nukes, we had to fly them directly over. Granted, that was a long time ago. But I'm saying, sure, you can shoot them off, but there is still a range. And Russia is big, bro. So, I mean, if they're located in the northern regions and they need to move them over to the western regions, for example, maybe, in order for them to have the proper distance to actually be effective.
Well, the question is, like, what do you guys think is going to happen? Because there's got to be some sort of spark to get this thing going, right?
Nothing.
Nothing. You don't think anything will happen?
No, they're not going to drop a nuke unless they absolutely have to. And I don't see them doing it. Honestly, like that would open up a can of worms that I don't think Ukraine or Russia want to deal with. I don't.
I'm thinking like if you have nothing left, right, and you have nukes and that's it, like you're going to nuke something to make some sort of conflict in the world happen. You know what I mean? And get the eyeballs off you.
It's going to get to a point where it's going to get to that breaking point, and then, like Trump's been saying this whole time on his campaign, he's going to get in there right when it's about to go down, and he's going to have a peace talk with everybody.
He has a peace deal already made.
24 hours, like he says.
Yeah, I don't buy into that. I don't buy into that, man. I feel like he's trying to pull a Kennedy right now, and like that's just him bolstering his chest. He's trying to do a Cold War situation.
At the same time, I mean, he went all over the place and had talks with everybody. And I mean, Ukraine or not Ukraine, but Korea stopped all their weird shit that they were doing. Like everybody was under peace deals when he was president.
To some extent, yes, absolutely.
So,
I agree with
you. What makes you think that he wouldn't be able to do that again?
Because they weren't in war. Like this is a new war, man.
Oh, hey.
Like Germany is not in war.
You know what's interesting about that, Chris? Is he did all of those treaties in the last months after he lost the election, right? Like in December-ish, right? Didn't he go around and sign all those peace treaties after he knew that he lost?
I don't know the exact time frame. I don't remember.
I thought it was before that, man.
A lot of those were like kicking out, like right towards the end of his administration. I
remember the one right at the end was like a piece like in the Middle East area.
Yeah.
He did, like right at the end.
Yep.
Yeah, listen, I like maybe, okay, but I don't know, man. I actually don't. I wouldn't be shocked if the Ukrainian war is over before Trump even gets in office, if you want my honest opinion, because I feel like, let's say that they figure that Joe Biden's not going to win, right? Like the numbers are just not there. Like the candidates aren't strong, that Trump really does have an advantage.
Yeah. Why
would they want to deal with both of them, either of them? Trump, right? Because to your point, Chris, like you said, like people are afraid of him. They don't know how he's going to handle things. So he's kind of spontaneous, if you will. So like I could see them just ending it before Trump even gets involved, because I feel like there's.
I don't think they'll end it.
Why?
Because I feel like when it comes to Democrats and history, usually the president that's in wartime, if anything, it's going to escalate more, and then the U.S. is going to get involved. And then they'll hope that Joe Biden or whoever's running will stick around because we're in wartime and people won't want to change. They'll use that to their advantage.
But you got to make it look like we're winning or we're doing something.
But at the same time, if Joe Biden is running, the majority of the people in this country are going, if we're trying to end this whole thing, Joe Biden is not the fucking person that's going to be able to do it.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I don't know.
So Trump brokers historic peace deal agreement between Israel and Sudan. That was October 23rd, 2020.
Yeah.
He did a peace deal between Israel and United Arab Emirates. That was August 13th, so before the election.
Yeah.
So, but I remember he was just knocking them out of the fucking park, like peace deal, peace treaty, peace deal, peace deal. You know, he had like 4 or 5 in the last couple months of his. You know, is that like, was he setting something up for being like, hey, don't do anything while I'm gone? You know, there's going to be a little rough patch here. They're going to try to do something.
Yeah. I just don't think, I mean, it's been going on this long. There's no way it's going to end before the election.
Well, I mean, we have a year, you know, and so like, here's the deal. Like some wars last a long time. A lot don't. Like, we're used to long wars because we were just in Afghanistan, right? But in general, like historically, not all of them are that long lasting. You have Russia, who's seemingly like having issues with ammunition, having issues with support. You have Ukraine, who may be falling and no one's realizing it. They're not talking about it. But they're also like, I know we're sending money, but they don't seem to be doing that well either. So like at some point, both parties are going to be like, we don't have enough to keep this going. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't see them running into the ground. So maybe some agreement comes up like, hey, you know, we're not going to go to the UN. We're going to maintain like, you know, kind of staying away from the borders with the UN. But when you're talking about this stuff, like Trump did that stuff when you're saying the United Emirate or whatever, that was like, those are like tussles, right? Those are like small things that are happening that they don't like each other. And he was able to come to an agreement. Like war is very, very different. Like there's troops, there's bombs being dropped. They're actively engaged right now. Like Trump's not going to just be able to sign a peace treaty overnight. That's not going to fucking happen. I don't believe that. Even though I know he's good, I don't see that happening, dude, at all. It's going to take weeks.
His excuse is like, look, they both have strengths and they both have weaknesses. I know them both. I talked to them and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, that's not enough information for me to be super confident in that whole 24-hour thing. Unless he comes out and says like, bro, like, we had a deal. We have this fucking talk.
If he did have a way to make a deal, he's not going to come out and say what that way is. Otherwise, Joe Biden would just go fucking do it and he'd steal his fucking glory.
Maybe.
Well, but see, that goes against what people are saying, Chris. Like most people are saying it's because it's Trump. In fact, you even just kind of said that. Like Trump in himself is the reason. So Joe Biden would be able to accomplish it anyway.
I think Trump I think Trump, the way he would be able to broker a deal may be able to get it done. I don't think Joe Biden has the capacity to broker that kind of thing.
So
I don't think they would want to, though. Like I just don't think that they would like Joe Biden. I think that they'd be like, bro.
No, they're in the party of war. They love war.
Yeah,
I know. But my point is if you're saying that he doesn't have the capacity to do that, Joe Biden, then why would it matter if Trump said what his goal would be? Because he wouldn't be able to do it anyways.
Because then if he laid out what he was going to do, then he wouldn't know how to do it.
Okay, but theoretically, say Trump wins. Okay, say he wins. He's president again, right? He's our president. We're good to go. He's going to start aggressively going after Ukraine-Russia war. Okay, he's going to do his 24-hour thing. We saw how that worked out with Afghanistan, right? You remember that the military, who everybody's like, you know, and some of these generals and shit, were lying to him to his face about how many people were there, how many people they removed. What makes you think that even if he had an idea that they're actually going to execute his idea?
Because you wouldn't use them. You'd go do it personally.
Well, and that's the problem is like, how do we know who the bad guys are? How do we know who can be trusted? And does Trump even know that? You know what I mean? That's what got him in the whole mess the whole time he was his president, you know? And so it's like, if he can't trust his cabinet members, he can't trust the military, he can't trust, you know, how does he know who to trust? Right?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he even knows that right now.
And I certainly am not saying that Trump can't do it. Like, I think that Trump is more than capable of being able to get these deals, right? But I also, this is the kind of stuff that annoys me, is like the bombastic shit that like I can have it done in 24 hours. Now, my ultimate deal is if Trump would have came out and just said, you know what, I could talk to both of them and we could have this war ended much quicker than you think. Yes. All right. I believe that. There's no time frame. There's no expectations. Yeah, and we have faith that you can.
That's like Trump's thing is like, let's make a phrase and make it stick. And I can end the war in 24 hours is catchy. and it's like bombastic, like you said, and it
But
sticks
Greg,
in
people
people's
don't
heads.
forget. They don't forget. You said it like the show before we took our little vacation. You said Trump made claims that Mexico was going to pay for the border.
Oh yeah, dude.
Okay, so what my point is like when you say that kind of stuff, people remember it and they'll say like, "Yeah, you got some done, but remember you were saying you were going to do this," and it just makes them seem half-assed.
No, I know, but it works when you need it to work. That's my point. Like Trump is using it right now because he needs it to work right now. Like it'll work to get him elected.
Y'all, honestly, I think the 24-hour thing is just a glamour type thing. Whether it's done in 24 or 48 or 72, nobody's gonna fucking remember that.
Yeah.
But once it's done, they're not gonna say, "Yeah, but you said you do it in 24 hours and you didn't."
The problem is like the border, will it actually get done, or is it going to be better? Because like the border's better, right? Like when he was leaving, it wasn't complete. It was better than it was. I mean, would you say the same argument can be installed with this war, right? Like he leaves it in a better position, but it actually never stopped. You know, like that's where like people start going like, "Hey man, like let's get it done," you know?
Well, and that's why you can't really argue with too many of the conspiracy theorists, because they said that it was purposefully not completed because you had to go through all this darkness, right? You need to go through the Biden administration. You need to see what it's like to have all of these immigrants come through and an unchecked border.
That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my fucking life, dude. No one needs to be going through this shit we're dealing with right now. No one. Like we already knew that it was fucking bad. You don't need to like, listen, if you're in a bad car wreck, you get what a bad car wreck's like. You don't need to have your limbs cut off for you to know that it's a bad situation.
Dude, tell me about it. It's like that's the whole thing. Is like how bad is bad enough? You know what I mean?
It was bad enough. We all knew it was bad enough. That's what I'm saying. Like that kind of talk is such dumb nonsense, bro.
Yeah,
like we all knew that was bad.
I don't think the not completing the border is really relevant. I think a war treaty or something with an active war is a little more, do it now type thing than later. I think that is a little higher on the to-do list than finishing a border wall.
Well, let me ask you this.
I don't know.
I mean, first of all, he ran on the border wall, so I would think that would be a very high priority for him was to get the border wall done because that was his number one thing. Yeah, but on top of it, what is the likelihood that he wins? He goes in there, he has a discussion. Putin says, "You know what? I'm going to work with you, right? Like you're a good guy. We've worked together before. Let's say the war ends. Does it really end though? Do people not go, see, that's why we think that he works for the Russians because look what he was able to do in a matter of a day or two. And he wouldn't be able to do that if he didn't have a previous history with them. So like it starts a whole nother ball of like people saying, see, he is a Russian asset. He is this and that. You know what I'm saying? Like I could see that being a problem.
They're going to do that anyway, dude. I mean, whether he stops the war, whether he completes the war, like, I mean, he could be killing Putin and they'd be like, look how much he loves Putin. See the way that he killed him. He slit his throat. Like the way that just Trump is, they're going to try to find any way to spin his image to make it look bad. And that's why, like, when you get into this position where it's like, I don't want to vote for the guy, but the media makes me want to vote for the guy because it's like, I hate the media and I can see what they're trying to do to him. And the media makes it look like he's the underdog and they're treating him like some underdog move. You know what I mean?
Trump?
Yeah. Like they're treating him like unfairly. Right.
Sure. I want to vote for Trump. So like, like it's not that I like don't want to, I will,
but I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about like the people out there that see the media and like let's just say like they're indifferent. And they're like, I don't really know who I'm going to vote for. But like the stuff that they keep on saying about Trump, like turns out to be lies. And then they keep on coming out with more and more and they just won't leave the guy alone. Like he's not even present and they go and raid his house. And it's just, it's never ending. So I don't know. Yeah, I could see how they could force people to be like, you know what? Screw these people. Like they're being childish. They have no basis to their claims. So they're, I'm just done with them. I'm going to fucking vote for Trump.
Or people really genuinely believe that he's a bad human being and that they need to be doing this because Trump's getting away with all this shit. So we need to go every angle. Like that's how people think. Like it's not enough. We should be going after him for everything because he's a bad human being. You know what I mean? So but some people
it's
at
almost
it that
like,
way.
but when will they get the picture that nothing's ever going to happen to Trump? Because it's like this, the cat and the tail. It's like a carrot and the stick. It's just, you know what I mean?
Well,
Like they're being led
be
to
a faction of people that are always going to be like, "This is the time."
I mean,
There's
it's
always
just as
gonna be
bad
some
as
people like
the conspiracy theorists. It's just as bad as that movement. The goalposts keep on moving, right? With Trump, like he's going to get him. The walls are closing in now, but they never do.
It's not just as bad. They are conspiracy theorists, right? So, like, for all the left that's saying that the right is this conspiracy-driven bullshit, they themselves are following a conspiracy. You know what I'm saying? So they're one and the same, bro. They're exact same people, just different sides of the party. You know what I mean? Like Trump's whole like criminal thing to me is a huge conspiracy. Not saying that he may not be guilty of some things. I have no idea, right? But all of it, that he peed on hookers, that he was this evil Russian. It's all fake, bro.
Well,
That's
that was actually proven to be fake, right?
I know, but I'm just talking about as a collective. The majority of what people said about him is fake.
Now, what do you think about like the whole? What do you think about the Epstein ties and like how he turned in Epstein or something? He kicked him out of the Mar-a-Lago residence, right? Wasn't this like with a party? Because Epstein went behind his back and was doing all these real estate deals. And he took like some property that Trump was into. And so he's like, I don't like that guy. He's a dirty guy. Get him out of here. Dirty business. And
I read that it was about he was doing underage girl shit at Mar-a-Lago, and that's why he kicked him out.
But how do you know that? Like, do we really know? Like,
exactly. But it's the same thing. How do you know he hasn't pissed on hookers?
Well, because that was written by that was in the dossier. And we have evidence.
He hasn't done it? Is there proof that he hasn't done it?
There was a guy who came out and said that he made up the whole thing.
No, right? Chris is saying that in that example, we can say that that's fake, but there's no proof that he hasn't done it in the past. Is what he's trying to say. Like, like, hey, I could say that you didn't cheat on somebody this particular time because I saw you, but I know that you cheated before. You know what I'm saying?
But so that's like guilty until proven innocence, and you could do that with anything. Like you'd be like, "Oh yeah, I saw you sucking on a turd yesterday." Well, no, I didn't. Like you could make up anything.
That's not the thing. But how do you know? Yeah, that was a story about Trump. That's the reason he kicked him out. But how do you know that's not part of it?
It could be. I don't know. It just like what seems more credible, you know. Like
I've never heard anything that says he was doing stuff with underage girls at Mar-a-Lago. That's not ever what I heard.
Not that he was doing stuff with underage girls, but he was acting inappropriately with females at Mar-a-Lago.
Maybe. I mean, the only thing I heard was that to some story that he was trying to recruit people that were working at Mar-a-Lago to come work for him. Like that was some of the massage therapists.
I think Chris, you're right. So it says this is CNBC, okay? Trump banned Jeffrey Epstein, hold on a second, from Mar-a-Lago after sex criminal hit on member's daughter, book claims. So this is a book.
No.
Okay.
So he just hit on somebody? That's what they're saying?
This is saying that, Trump banned Jeffrey Epstein from Mar-a-Lago for hitting on the teenage daughter of another member.
Oh, teenager. Not good. But expected. It's Epstein. We expect it, right?
Yeah. So I don't.
Yeah, there you go, Chris. I need that light on your face, bro. You gotta get some sun on you.
Fucking, there's no lights in this room except for that one.
Yeah, it's cool, dude. Listen, I don't know. I don't know any of this crap. No one knows what really went down. Like, I don't know, dude.
Well, I just think that if there was stuff on Trump, like it would have come out. Unless like he has stuff on them, you know, it's like, oh, hey, we're all in this boat together. Like if Trump and everybody else was caught doing shit and they all have blackmail on each other, you know, that would make sense too. Like both sides of those coin make sense to me.
And that's the funny thing too, is Trump is literally the only person that you could say that about. Is like, it literally, if there was something on him, it would have fucking been out by now. Like he's literally been under the microscope for so long, it would have been out.
See, I don't know about that, dude. You know, like, first of all, I don't think there's anything on Trump. If you want my honest opinion, like, I don't really think there's anything like crazy on Trump. But to be fair and like look at it from another perspective, like Trump is probably one of the most powerful people, you know what I'm saying? As far, especially after being president, you know what I mean? So if Epstein had something or people that were working with Epstein had something, Like, they wouldn't necessarily release it like you guys are saying. Like, the Washington Post may not ever get that story. Why? Because the people that are above him that need him to do shit would just tell him, I have it, and if you do something that you're not supposed to, I will release it. So there are some people. What?
But then why wouldn't that have been a part of any fucking court thing or any investigation that has been brought on him already?
Because they wouldn't know about it. Like, I'm talking about the deep state shit. I'm not talking about some dude from some country says they have a picture of him peeing on a girl. I'm saying that, like, above all this, right? If you believe in the Illuminati, you believe in like the deep state kind of government, what if they had something on him and they just said, hey, we have it and we're going to turn it on you if you don't do what you're supposed to? There are some people that believe that once Trump took office, I'm not saying me, but I'm saying there are some people believe that he switched a lot of shit, that he kind of went away from going after the Clintons, went away from like being this, you know, like draining the swamp. I'm just saying, if they had something and they said, hey, listen, you don't need to change everything, but I want you to drop the Clintons. I want you to drop the swamp talk. Like, you can say it, but don't do it. And we won't release it. Like, why wouldn't they? That is real blackmail. So to me, stuff that's released to New York Post or the New York Times, that stuff is a lot of times bullshit. That's somebody wanting to get a little money, you know. But I'm talking about that deep stuff that you guys talked about it too. Why is China's thing? What does China have on Joe Biden? We don't know. Why don't we know? Because they're not going to share it, because they know that they have the goods and they're not going to share it.
I don't think they have anything on him. I think he's doing business with them.
I think they have them. I think they have stuff on Joe Biden. I absolutely think they have stuff on Joe Biden,
like with kids and stuff.
Not going there. Money, with dealings with his son. I think they have information that would destroy Joe Biden. I believe that wholeheartedly. But maybe that comes out. But there's no reason for them to do it right now if he's doing, like, he's still in office.
As far as China, there would be no reason for them to do it in the first place, because they're making money. They're either making money or they're getting stuff for having this relationship with them. Why would they say, hey, by the way, American people, here's the shit we got on Joe Biden, if it's ruining a business that they're a part of? They would never do that.
Right, I know, Chris. But what I'm saying is how bad has Joe Biden been? Like, how bad has he been? Like, the worst ever, probably?
Yeah.
Okay, so my point is if Joe Biden would have came out and started some beef with China, like the trade shit that Trump was doing, or war, or Taiwan, which all of a sudden they flipped the script. You saw that. If he would have came out and said, we do support Taiwan, China could have flipped that information, because they say, fuck you. We paid you off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the reason that you haven't seen it, Chris, is because he hasn't done what he's been doing what he's supposed to.
He hasn't done anything bad to China. That's,
exactly
what would invoke them to produce some said blackmail, if it did exist. Then he would have to do something bad against China. But that's the thing that doesn't make sense about Trump is, he didn't lock her up, but he did a lot of shit against the quote unquote deep state, man. Like, he went after Big Pharma too, even though he's like the biggest salesman for vaccines ever. But it's just
you really think that, dude? You really think that? Like, you really think he hit like the deep state hard? Because I don't at all.
I mean, somewhat. I think what his biggest deal is that he woke a lot of people up to the media, and the media constantly attacking him, and then he always lands on his feet, right? Like, they always attack him for certain shit, and then it comes out, if not years, months later, like, oh yeah, that was a bunk story, you know. That was actually just in a book.
But my point is, what does that matter? Like, they've already admitted that it doesn't matter if they restate that they were wrong. The damage is done, and they know it's done.
I think so. What would matter is if you come out and you ruin his credibility, because like Andrew Tate's rules, right? You ruin the credibility, you shut him up, or then you kill him, right? Something like that. And so, like, they've tried to ruin Trump's credibility, but they can't do it. And it only makes them stronger when they try to. So my point is, like, why wouldn't they have come out with this? And I think Chris is saying this too. Like, they would have come out with this back when he was running for president, to prevent him and totally ruin, the grab him by the pussy tape, that ruined his credibility to some extent. Why not after that, if that didn't work, really pull the trigger, be like, okay, well, here's this guy named Jeffrey Epstein, and he was just caught, in prison, hanging himself. You might have heard of him. yeah, Trump knew that guy, and here's a picture with them doing stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that prevents this whole wave of, oh my God, I can't believe I fell for this guy who I thought was going to come and save our country from this quote unquote deep state. Like, what was I thinking? Like, this guy, I almost voted for this guy. You know what I mean? It could have prevented a lot of people from going down that path.
I don't remember how we got to this point, to be honest with you. Because at the end of the day, I don't think that he did anything with Epstein. Like, I think that they saw each other at parties. I think they're both very rich. They knew the same people. That's obvious. I mean, Trump knew Oprah Winfrey. You know what I'm saying? Like, he spent time with her. Like, she's a bad person too. Like,
well, we did say that Trump's Batman. Remember, you got to, to know people with the problems, you got to hang around the people with the problems.
Yeah. To come back to it, I guess I'm just saying, like, I don't believe that Trump had any dealings with any of these guys. I guess we were kind of talking about the what ifs more, like what if he really did have some blackmail on him. And I don't know that we know that's what it is. Maybe they don't care that like Epstein already went down. Maybe they have some different shit on him.
What if Trump has blackmail on all of these people and that is his 24-hour end the war? You know, like, hey, end the war or I'm going to release all this fucking shit on everybody.
Yeah, but seemingly Putin, why would Putin want to end the war if you could argue that Putin's in on it? Because some people are saying that Trump and Putin are kind of fighting the same battle in some aspects, well, right?
Putin already offered to end the war and they didn't take him up on it, right?
Sure.
So it's like he's already been there, done that. So it's I don't know.
I mean, he might have dirt on Zelensky. You know, I don't know. Maybe he's got a picture of him butt fucking another Ukrainian. I have no idea.
Dildo time.
I have no idea.
He's into that bondage stuff, so you never know. There might be a dildo going up somewhere.
They knew he was already into that weird fucking shit anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's true. I don't know, man. I think it's interesting, and I don't know that any of us know what's going to actually come of it, but there's a lot of blackmail going on, and I believe that all the way through to the bottom. There's blackmail happening all over the place, and I'm not saying that Joe Biden wouldn't have already been a really bad person or a bad president, but I definitely think that he is made worse by the blackmail that's on him. I believe that. Because, like, I think most people, even on the Democrat side, besides the deep staters, but like a lot of people see what China does and call out China, right? But Joe won't. Like, he doesn't do that. And there's a reason for that. And I think that they have dirt on his family. Yeah, it's money. It's his son. It's
Chris's
all of it.
Fingers are itching.
Well, that was the money symbol there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think it's not necessarily that they have blackmail on him and he is the reason he does what he does. I think he's just in cahoots with people and it's about money.
Yeah, dude. I think all of the countries are doing the same thing right now. They're deteriorating their culture. Everybody's getting ready for like this big global reset of the financial system, which is coming. I mean, the Fed Now service is coming this month in the United States. You have, there's clips of all of these global leaders kind of looking into global currency changes. They're looking into the Bitcoin type of stuff. What is it called? The cryptocurrency, right?
Yeah.
Look at France. My God, dude. I mean, you have, because of all of those riots over there, they're shutting off internet in certain neighborhoods, right? There's that. But then all of a sudden today, Macron or someone just gave the police authority to tap into people's phones. Like, you can access their speakerphones, you can access their cameras, you can access their computers to like track down these rioters who are, aggregating places and they're meeting up. So it's just like, okay, we're allowing this to happen. The riots seem fabricated to me. It's just like a George Floyd situation, right? You had this 17-year-old kid who got shot in the chest because a cop was trying to stop him. He had a rap sheet that was huge. You
think that the France riots are fake?
I think that they're like staged. Yeah, I think that there's like a setup, dude. Just like the BLM riots were here. I think that they were like fed. And I feel like, I think that whole thing is like this kind of, it's not an organic riot. I don't feel like.
Why? Like, why would you? I guess maybe
to introduce this type of stuff where the government can tap into your phones. They can shut off your fucking internet. They can control you. And this
I think that's dangerous, bro. I think that's dangerous to say that, honestly. Those people are pissed off at their government. Can you agree with that?
The most people that are rioting are like immigrants, dude. Right? They're Muslims.
I know, but
so I'm just saying, like, the influx of the immigration into the France countries, it's just like if you were saying, like, we have an influx of immigrants here and somebody shot an immigrant, then all of those immigrants start rioting. And you say, well, the country is sick of this. It's like, well, no, it's the immigrants who are rioting. So it's different. It's not like this.
Yeah, I guess maybe I just don't understand it that well because I haven't followed it. Maybe that's the case.
Yeah, I would look into it. Like, it's a bunch.
So what exactly are the riots for? Like, what happened? Real quick.
So a kid, Algerian boy, right?
Okay.
A French Algerian. He got shot in the chest or something because he was stopped at like a traffic stop, right? And I guess like he almost ran over the cop. I don't know what his past crimes were, but he's like just been known to be a miscreant or a mischief. So it's one of those things where, you know, where you had George Floyd. Yeah, he didn't deserve to die, but he was no martyr for this whole movement that you're trying to boast up this thing where, okay, yeah, I can go smash a fucking window, burn down cities, and all for what? And even like the boy's mother and family are saying like, dude, we don't want this. Like, this isn't providing any justice for my son, you know? And it's so contrived to me that it reminds me of 2020 here, where you had the George Floyd riots. You had this massive clampdown on, you know, everybody's supposed to stay home unless you're rioting. That's okay because we got this virus here, but the virus won't get you unless you're you know, on the streets rioting for social justice. It's one of those social justice things, dude.
Well, that's so my bad. I apologize because I thought there was a little more to it than that. But I just, what I don't like is like, and it's the same with J6 and anything else, dude. I don't like saying that because people are upset about something and they riot, that immediately it's like a false flag bullshit. Because then anytime somebody's upset, like January 6th, where we're actually genuinely mad, they use it. Well, they're just doing that so they can do X, Y, and Z.
Well,
and it takes away from,
for sure. But that would be like your that would be people voting for somebody and believing that their inherent voting system in their country is corrupt. Right. That's why January 6th happened. Where this is like outrage over someone got shot. Now we're smashing buildings. We're tearing down stuff. A guy got his fucking hands cut off, bro. Like this isn't just your average riot. Like these people.
I don't know like about the France. Like I don't know about France, and I don't understand like culturally what's happening because we saw like the yellow jacket stuff, the yellow coat stuff. We've seen some.
France has an immigration problem. Like they have open borders like you wouldn't believe, and so that's what the deal is.
I'm just saying that we've seen heavy protesting forever. We talked about it. They weren't sharing it around the world. These people were showing about gas prices and taxes and all that shit, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is you already have a government that's kind of been hostile to the people. And so in France, you can't say France is like America. They're not like America. So we can't incorporate George Floyd to this boy. Very different cultures, very different things happening. And what I'm trying to say is it possible that the police are not respected there because of what happened with the yellow vest shit, and that they're saying, and now they're shooting people, and all of a sudden there's more hostility. Like there's no tie-in to like what's happened before at all. Like the frustration's not tied.
Dude, I don't think so. I mean, the yellow vest stuff was about like wages, right? And the carbon tax shit.
I know, Greg, but I'm saying it's yes. If on a low level, it's about wages, but is it also about Macron being a piece of shit?
Like, he's saying
their
like
government
frustration compiling over years.
I'm saying their government is horrendous, dude. Macron is a piece of shit. So like, is it a combination that they're just really disliking the police state and the government right now?
I mean, it could be, but I mean, that's like, you know, if you're going to blame everything on that, it's like, does everything just, you want to go riot because of everything? Because our country is different than France. So why did George Floyd riots happen here? You know what I mean? Like, our country is so much better than France, but it's the same thing happened.
Yes. I would argue, I guess, that like George Floyd was a problem, that there's other things that are going on as well. Like, whether it's right or wrong, a lot of the people that were writing for George Floyd believe that the government is after them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they believe that. And we can all say that it's not true, and that, you know, everybody's treated equally and there's not this huge racial problem, but they were taught differently. They believe wholeheartedly that. So what I'm trying to say is like, yes, I blame the rioters here over George Floyd. They did some stupid shit. They caused a lot of damage and death. We know that. But I also do understand that they've been manipulated their whole fucking life. They have. They absolutely have. They've been lied to forever. So it's not as black and white as what I'm trying to say. And I don't know that France's situation is black and white.
Yeah, I know. I think that it's not as black and white here either. I think that there are people who want racial justice, and like, they have a valid point. But I think that when you like infiltrate those groups, like January 6th was infiltrated, and you get those the bad apples can spoil the whole fucking bunch, bro. Like, that's just how it is. Like, you could have. I
saw a rhino, bro. Did you see the rhino in the protests?
Where?
In the France protest? They're supposedly in France.
Wait, an actual rhino?
Yes, they let a rhino out, bro. There was like a zoo, and they broke in. There was a rhino walking down the middle of the fucking street, and people were filming it, and they were just standing around. This thing's a fucking ginormous fucking animal, and it's just walking down the sidewalks, bro. Like, no big deal. Weird. It's fucking weird.
Can you imagine just sitting there, like, holding your sign, and all of a sudden a fucking rhino comes charging past you? Like fucking Jumanji or something.
I was gonna say that's like Jumanji to a T. Well, I mean, there's people that are concerned because if you look at France, they have just like open border immigration problems, and now what is happening to the United States? You have this open border immigration problems. It's not just Mexico sending their people. Okay, it's a lot of different countries that can send their people. Like, you don't know if it's a terrorist coming across the border. Okay, that's my point. Yeah. And you don't know if France had terrorists crossing their borders. And then all of a sudden, how easy would it be if they have a couple thousand terrorists and you say, hey, you guys get together, here's some money, here's a pallet of bricks, you know what to do. I mean,
apparently the rhino was not in France, so we'll just clear that up right now. So
okay, well, it was a cool story while it lasted.
Hey, no, it happened. Like, there was a rhino that got loose, and it was in the middle of a street with a bunch of people, right? But
they should send that rhino to France, dude. They should pick it up and airdrop it. Like,
they should. That might be Rhino the best. Like, who's gonna fucking go after a rhino, dude?
That's how they solve the problem.
What's that, Chris? What's that?
Ace Ventura would go after him.
Yeah, dude.
Did you guys see the new fucking event center in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
The Sphere?
Yeah. It's pretty cool, dude.
What's that about? What's that about?
It's an event center. Apparently it holds like 15,000 people, and they're going to have concerts and all kinds of shit there.
17,000 seats.
Oh, I read 15,000 plus.
I think it's 17,000 seats and a 20,000 person standing room.
But the whole outside of it is covered in LEDs.
Yeah.
And they can make it look like whatever they want it to make it look like.
It's bizarre, dude.
Like, I seen one that had it, like, it looked like an eyeball came out of the earth, and it was just like looking around blinking.
Whoa.
Technology, man.
Massive. It's a massive fucking building.
Yeah, this says it's 580,000 square feet. Programmable LED screens.
Yeah, there was like, they had it like looking like the moon was coming out of the ground. They had it look like the earth, like it was insane.
I see. Listen,
that's technology that I can get behind, because supposedly inside, the way that it's set up, it's not circular around. It's one side of the stadium inside. So all the seats go up one area. And where the stage is in the front, the whole thing that circles around where you all sit is LEDs as well. So U2 is actually going to be the first performing act there. And I have a feeling that it's going to be totally immersive. The way that they can do like when they shoot flames, it'll.
Oh yeah, their fucking stage show.
Dude,
Yes,
that's weird
it's
that you
gonna be-
said that because their new album, I think, was something about the sphere, and they like something Octung, like warning baby. Remember they had the big sphere in the sky,
Oh,
the
yeah,
Super
yeah,
Bowl ad with the baby in the middle.
But like you have a center like that, and your first show is U2.
Right?
That's not shocking to me at all. It's Vegas, bro.
That
Who
sounds like-
listen.
It's just no, it's not shock. It's gay. It's like, ugh.
No, look at Vegas, bro. Listen, Celine Dion, Mariah Carey. Like, come on, man. We're not talking about fucking A-listers, okay? Like, they get the has-beens. U2 does put, I hate them, but they put on a pretty massive show. They're just a really gay band. I mean, there's nothing else to it.
Yeah, I guess.
But that-
I mean,
listen, I think
certain people
so
are into the
much
gay
other-
music. Huh?
There could have been so much other bands that could have had like such a bigger presence. I feel like.
Who? I mean, that's I'm just saying. Like,
No.
Slipknot, bro. You get Slipknot
No.
to come out there.
no.
You burn that
listen,
sphere down.
U2, like as a world band, is still a very big band. I don't like them at all, but they're a huge fucking band. I mean, they're also I think they had this deal for a long time, which would make sense with the Super Bowl. Maybe they knew that they were going to be the first to be at this event center. The whole Sphere thing was kind of a play into this whole, big event that's going to happen. So I don't want to read too much into it, but U2 sucks. So that's where I'll leave that.
But yeah,
They're
it
terrible.
does look pretty freaking crazy, dude. Like they put this
It's a beautiful-
water effect on it.
Oh yeah.
And do you remember the movie Sphere with Dustin Hoffman and Samuel L. Jackson back in the day? Sharon Stone, I
No.
think, was in that. Dude, killer movie. It looks just like
Yeah.
the Sphere that they walk into.
It's
Nuts.
a cool look for Vegas, man. It's a cool
I
look for
can't
'em.
wait for that technology to just start happening everywhere. Like just buildings looking crazy as shit.
Well, that building was like $4.5 billion or something, like 5.3 billion. It was very expensive. So I don't see it being like, like every city's going to have one, but it's definitely cool technology, and it shows you like what can be, right? And what place
Yeah, it was
would you expect something like that?
$2.3 billion, but people are saying this is definitely going to attract more UFOs. What if they land on it, dude? What if
yeah,
they
right?
land there? That's their home. Yeah.
I mean, maybe
I bet
it's
you-
a sign.
Yeah.
It just starts flashing. It's just flashing strobes like SOS to the
Land
outer space.
here. Land here. Yeah, you guys, we are past the hour mark. So if there's any
Yeah,
last
dude.
little thing that you want to touch on.
Chris, go ahead.
No, just go listen to us everywhere, guys. Get on Spotify, listen there, leave a rating and review on Apple. Do whatever
yeah.
you can, share everything.
Yeah, and on a side note, I'm going to give a big congratulations to Chris and his family for finally getting their home. It's
Woohoo!
fucking gorgeous. I'm super happy for them, and glad to be back, man. I'm glad that we're going to start rolling again, and I can't wait to have a normal set once again.
Yeah, Greg, after the show, I'll have to give you a call and give you a tour, like a video tour of it.
Yes, you should. You should.
Yeah, man,
I mean, it's dark, but whatever.
All right.
for sure.
Okay,
All right, man.
everybody. Well, until next time, everybody. Sayonara.
Later, guys.